Chapter 5. Randy filled a room when he walked into it, even a room as large as a gym. At least that's how Delia felt when she saw him come in the back door. He looked like he had everything under control, he thought. With his baseball hat carefully placed so the brim touched the back of his neck, his shoes untied, and his sweatpants pulled down low on his butt. One pant leg down, one pant leg pushed up to his knee. He could have been wearing a sign that read, "I really don't care," she thought. Delia didn't know too much about Randy, except that he lived with his dad, who was a long-distance truck driver. Even though he was often out of town, when Randy's dad had come to a couple of the team's Double Dutch events, Randy had beamed like a lightning bug. She'd heard rumors that Randy's mom had run off with a mailman or something like that, but Delia tried not to pay attention to that kind of talk. She jumped out of the ropes and knelt to tie her shoelace. She pretended not to notice him. He even smelled good. The faint smell of something woodsy drifted through the air that, just moments before, had smelled merely of old gym and new sweat. Delia knew that for her to be able to smell it clear across the gym, he had to be wearing way too much cologne. But she smiled anyway. He smiled at Delia as he got out the official ropes and spread them out in pairs on the floor. She smiled back, but suddenly felt self-conscious. She was sweaty from that jump, and her hair, in spite of the hairspray, was a mess. More of the other jumpers had started to arrive and were stretching their legs, getting ready for the next couple of hours of practice and competition. Randy took attendance, collected money from the 4th and 5th grade girls, who had sold candy as a fundraiser, and checked the buzzing timers for their timed jumps. Charlene and Yo-Yo followed him around, chattering and giggling about the ropes and school yesterday, and why Bomani, their coach, was always late. He's late because he knows he's got me to keep things set up. All he needs to do is yell at you and get you through this competition. I don't care to do that. I'm the setup man. Then I got the best job in the world. I get to sit back and watch a bunch of girls jump for 2 hours. Sweet. Delia watched it all from the corner of the gym, wishing she could be like Yo-Yo and Charlene and be silly around Randy. Bomani arrived, late as usual. Everything about him was huge. His hands could almost encircle a basketball. His broad shoulders supported bulging muscles from years of work at a lumber company. Delia thought he looked like something out of one of those bodybuilding magazines. He made Randy look like a baby chicken. In spite of his bulk, however, Bomani could jump as swiftly and deftly as any 4th grader. He didn't do it often, but everyone at least once had seen him out-jump a tired or lazy 12-year-old and shame her into jumping faster and cleaner. Bomani strode into the center of the gym, blew his whistle, and said, "Let's get started. Today we'll pick the jumpers who will compete in the state tournament. 3rd and 4th graders, get ready for your singles compulsory jumps, speed test, and freestyle jumps. We'll do 2 grades at a time. 5th and 6th graders, get ready. You're up next. When we've gone through 8th grade and the high school division, we'll do the whole thing over for the doubles teams. Jumpers, are you ready?" The tension in the small gym sizzled like dangling electric lines, hot and fiery. Lots of parents sat in the stands, watching and cheering, as the various groups and teams filled the floor with the confusion that only an organized sports event can produce. Everyone found their places, and the younger girls began the familiar jumps and twirls. Delia watched with admiration as the little ones jumped with such intensity. The 3rd graders were cute and surprisingly capable. "Look at that sweet little baby jumper over there," she said, nudging Yolanda as she pointed to a 3rd grader with big eyes and bulging cheeks. "Look at her face. Poor kid is going to explode if she doesn't breathe." Yolanda laughed. "Yeah, I remember being that nervous when I was little. And look at the new uniform that the kids from downtown have this year. They look good." Delia nodded and grinned, but said nothing, satisfied to breathe deeply of the tension and the glory of that dirty old gym and the expectant jumpers that filled it. When the time came for the 8th grade singles teams to jump, Delia, Charlene, and Yolanda knew they were ready. Delia jumped the compulsory round, never missing a step. For the speed jump, Delia and Yolanda turned while Charlene powered her legs with almost blinding speed, never stopping to glance at the clock, concentrating only on the rhythm of the ropes. She whispered, "Yes," as the judges announced that her score was a dynamite 375. Delia and Yolanda hugged her with glee as she bounded off to the sidelines. "Beat that," she mouthed with a smile across the gym to Jackie, who grinned back. Delia glanced up into the stands, looking to see if her mother had been able to take the day off to come and watch, when she noticed the shadowy figures of the Tolliver twins sitting at the top of the bleachers. Both wore dark sunglasses. Delia shuddered as if a cold breeze had blown against her sweaty body, and she looked away. She refused to let anyone interrupt her focus today. The singles freestyle routine was the most challenging and the one that Delia liked the best. It was always the very last event for the singles competitions. She and Yolanda and Charlene had practiced their routine for hours to make it smooth as ice, adding leaps and twists and special dance movements. They were ready. Delia and Charlene held the ropes wide and low, while Yolanda entered the ropes with a backflip. Sometimes she jumped in, doing a leapfrog over Delia's head. It took perfect timing and flexibility. Charlene and Delia moved the ropes low and slowly, never taking their eyes off Yolanda, who switched off in the middle and took the ropes from Delia, who then became the jumper. Delia liked to jump in with a hand flip and bounce. It was like an intricate dance with ropes and legs and jumping bodies. The three girls switched turners in the middle of a jump, did flips and somersaults, and ended it effortlessly in a clean and precise landing, to the cheers of the people in the stands. Delia beamed with exultation as the three of them took their seats with the rest of the team. They knew they had done well. After a short break, Bomani blew his whistle and announced, "Okay, it's time to do it once more, jumpers, but this time it's the doubles competition. We'll do compulsory doubles first, then the doubles time test, and finally doubles freestyle. Third and fourth grade teams get into place. Judges, get ready." The steps for the doubles compulsory routine were the same as for the singles, but two girls jumped together in unison, and the time was increased from 30 seconds to 40. Misty, an 8th grader from another school, was the fourth on Delia's doubles team. She was a powerful jumper with strong legs and thick thigh muscles, absolutely essential when they did speed jump, where one jumper entered the ropes and jumped for 45 seconds. Then the second jumper jumped the remainder of the 2-minute test. They could always depend on Misty to catch up on any lost time or misses. She could do 300 jumps easy, and often did more. The buzzer sounded, and the doubles speed competition began for 8-year-olds. 2 minutes, 2 turners, 2 jumpers. Double rhythms whipping together on the gym floor. Parents and other volunteers who worked with the teams stood on the gym floor near each team, clickers in hand, counting the number of times that the left foot of each jumper hit the floor in a 2-minute period. The little girls tripped on the ropes occasionally, but the look on their faces was that of absolute determination and concentration. When it was time for the queen bees, Delia jumped in easily. Then, head down, knees bent, arms raised to her waist, she began the steady rhythm of the jump. Raising her palm to the ceiling was a signal to Charlene and Yolanda to increase the speed of their turns. 55 seconds later, Misty jumped in as Delia jumped out, Misty's feet marching Delia's steps exactly. Charlene and Yo-Yo turned in perfect rhythm with Misty as she peppered the floor with her steps, her arms spinning with the ropes. The girls shouted encouragement as they jumped. "Go, girl! Pick your feet up! Pick your feet up! Concentrate! Concentrate! You got it! You got it! 30 seconds! This is it!" "Faster!" yelled Yolanda. "Faster!" Misty's strong brown legs darted in and out of the ropes as they turned so fast they were spinning shadows, whipping dust as she swiftly and skillfully skipped in and out of the intricate pattern, the rapid sounds of her tennis shoes on the floor of the gym beating in perfect harmony to the drumbeat of the ropes. The buzzer sounded like a sheep in pain, as Yolanda had once described it, and Misty jumped nimbly out of the ropes. "How did we do?" Misty asked the judge, who had been timing them. 400. "Excellent," the judge said with encouragement. Delia glanced across the gym at Shanna and Jackie. Shanna waved and gave a thumbs-up sign that let Delia know that they too had done well. Looking into the stands again, Delia finally saw her mother, as well as the twins, who had not moved from their perch at the top. "Did you see who's here?" Delia whispered to Yolanda. "The Tollivers." Yolanda glanced at the two and waved. If they saw her, they did not indicate it. "Let 'em look," she said as she put on fresh lipstick. "I hope they like what they see." "You're crazy," Delia muttered. "I gotta keep my focus here." They finished the 8th grade doubles freestyle competition. Delia and her team did well, but they made a couple of careless mistakes. Not enough to eliminate them, but enough to make them realize they were not invincible. After a short meeting of the judges, the teams for the state finals were announced. I can't believe we got picked, Misty exclaimed. I knew we would. We're bad, Delia said with confidence. Hey, Shanna and Jackie's team is going on to state too, Yolanda said as their team was announced. You know, lots of kids get to go to the state finals, Delia commented. The city competition isn't nearly as fierce as the larger meets. We're going to have to watch out. Well, I'm glad that everybody gets to go to Columbus, even the kids that didn't quite make the cut this year, Yolanda said as she packed her gym bag. Yeah, I feel ya, Delia replied. It's fun being at tournaments and cheering for everybody. It's the team that counts. The gym emptied quickly after the results were announced. The Tollivers were nowhere to be seen. Delia felt charged and exultant, but she was tired, ready to get out of there and go home. She glanced at Randy, who was collecting all the ropes, putting them in the lockers, and straightening up the gym. She watched while Charlene and Yolanda told him jokes and decided to ignore them all as she hurried out of the gym and into her mother's car after only brief goodbyes.